Now, the battle for Kyiv continues as the city braces for another day of Russian attacks. Air sirens have been sounded as officials warn of an onslaught of missiles. People are seen taking cover in underground shelters. There have also been multiple reports of explosions at an oil depot outside Kyiv and a gas pipeline in Kharkiv. A large number of people were seen fleeing Ukraine into neighboring countries such as Poland and Moldova.
Russian Defense Ministry reports that Ukrainian nationalist forces used multiple rocket launching systems against the city of Sverdlovsk in Lugansk region, currently under control of Ukraine. Now they're calling it a provocation, and the Russian Defense Ministry said that they are aware of similar plans against other cities of the Donetsk and Lugansk People's republics that are still under Ukrainian control, where fighting is taking place. They said cities of Kramatorsk and Slavyansk could also be targeted in these provocations by Ukrainian nationalists. The head of the People's Republic of Donetsk, Denis Pushilin, also warned that intelligence shows that these cities could be targets of the Ukrainian nationalist force, and he warned the residents there to take necessary safety measures and leave or hide in bomb shelters when this starts happening. Meanwhile, shelling here in Donetsk Republic, where we are, continues to this day. The city of Donetsk, we heard several explosions during the day. Meanwhile, the city of Gorlovka, shelling continues non-stop to this hour. And the mayor of the city of Gorlovka reports that several explosions, several shellings have taken place. On Friday, 2 teachers have been killed as the result of artillery fire. On Thursday, another 2 people were killed, and there were attacks during the day on Saturday as well. And this is what the mayor of the city said about those incidents.
I'm joined by Times Network's National Affairs editor, Srinjoy Chaudhary, for more on this. Srinjoy, what's the latest that we're picking up from the ground there? Of course, the battle for Kyiv seems to be the focal point now.
Yes, heavy fighting going on near the Kyiv area, and it is going to be a very hard fight. Many people thought that the Russians would be in Kiev in 2 days, but it's already the 3rd and 4th day of fighting. And the fighting, what we are here, is still going on. In any case, entering a city, breaking into a city is never easy, and it's going to be a tough fight. That's really the situation on the ground as far as Kiev is concerned, but there is a lot of fighting in the other areas. In Donetsk, in the Lugansk area, there is fighting going on constantly. So that's something that also has to be kept in mind. That is really the eastern sector. So a lot of fighting going on. Meanwhile, there were initial talks that beliefs that there would at least be some diplomatic breakthrough. Zelensky wanted to talk, Putin wanted to talk, but at the end of the day, we find there has been no diplomatic dialogue. There has been absolutely no solution on the diplomatic side.
Right, Srinjoy, what we can also in fact see is that at this point in time, Western countries are, of course, earlier we saw Zelensky saying that they feel that they have been left alone, they have been abandoned in a way. And the latest also that we are seeing, that we'll, bring out more details for our viewers. But the military aid from Western countries, at least the pledge from Western countries to give more military aid, has also increased recently.
Yes, we heard our Secretary of State of the United States, Antony Blinken, say that they will increase military aid. We also know that the Germans want to supply a lot of weaponry. Much of it is defensive weaponry, surface-to-air missiles, anti-aircraft missiles, anti-tank missiles, and so on. But the point is that it may be a little too late. How are you going to get it to Ukraine in the first place? How are you going to get it to the soldiers in the first place? If the Russians are outside Kiev, at the gates of Kiev, how useful are those weapons going to be?
Right, Srinjoy, last question before we let you go. As you said, the Russians are at the doorstep of Kiev. It's been going on for the past couple of days now. I mean, at this point in time, of course, any guess would be, hazardous at this point, because we've seen that Ukraine, of course, and Zelensky himself has kept a very brave face in front of the world as well in terms of standing their ground and staying in Kiev and not relenting. But the Russian military might, of course, is something that Ukraine probably was not prepared for, although experts say that their military prowess has improved over the past few years. What exactly is the main concern at this point in time? How long do you think Kyiv can hold up against the Russian military might?
It's really anybody's guess, but you would expect that Kiev will not be able to hold on for very much longer, because it actually depends on a lot of things. It depends on how much force, how much pressure the Russians put militarily. If they put enormous pressure, then you will expect one kind of reaction. If they are just ring the place, if they have troops all around Kiev, if they besiege Kiev, and they just do probing attacks into Kiev, you will have another reaction. So we don't know also what the Russians exactly want to do. So we will have to wait and see how things turn out, what the Russian plan of action is, how the Ukrainians are defending Kiev, and also what is happening on the diplomatic front, the financial front. Lots of these things are still up in the air. There are new sanctions that have been placed by the Americans, by the West, by the Europeans. So we will have to see how long they will take to bite and whether they will hurt Russia at all in the short run. Right now, the Russians are in the middle of a war. They aren't really bothered about how difficult things are going to be after the war and how difficult the sanctions are going to be. Right now, they want to finish this war. So for that, we will have to see what kind of diplomatic breakthrough can be done.
Right, Srinjoy Chaudhary there, thank you so much for joining us with that perspective. Of course, we are going to come back to you for more detailed analysis and updates from Ukraine and the war situation there. Right, more breaking updates. And the United Nations has confirmed that at least 240 civilian casualties have been reported in Ukraine at the moment. This includes at least 64 people who were killed in the fighting in Ukraine. These are civilians who had in fact taken up arms to defend their country, who had in fact been killed. Though it's believed, the United Nations in fact also said, and I quote, that the real figures are considerably higher because many reports of casualties still remain to be confirmed.